Yeah. So this was what we covered last time. The last paragraph was the magician order of the cosmic mind, where we were discussing how the limitless freedom of transcendent, when it comes to manifestation, it has to be put into an order. Otherwise, it just cannot manifest itself. There has to be some laws of existence. It's not all just chance all the time. Yeah. So it has to be predictable. From while freedom is totally unpredictable, but when it comes to manifestation, it has to be forced into a some kind of a predictability. So that is what we covered last time, and now just taking up the new lines. Out of the rich wonders. So these are revelations and revelations happening to Ashwapati as he's becoming aware of further vastness of his own consciousness. What more is to come? Let's see. What more does he get a glimpse of? So maybe anyone who can go through out of the rich wonders and intricate worlds. Yeah, Raviji, it's your turn if you would like to go next.
Am I audible?
Yeah, now audible, please. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Out of the rich wonders and the intricate worlds of the spirit's dance with matter as its mask, the balance of the world's design grew clear, its symmetry of self arranged effects managed in the deep perspectives of the soul, and the realism of its illusive art, its logic of infinite intelligence, its magic of a changing eternity.
Yes. So this is what gets further revealed to Ashwapati. Now, what he sees is out of the rich wonders and intricate whirls. Whirls are like these grooves, for example, which we have in our ears, the ears that we have, human ears, they have these grooves. So these are the grooves which we call as whirls, intricate, so they are very sophisticated, very complex patterns. Now, what are these patterns of? These are the patterns of spirit's dance with matter as its mask. So, all of us human beings, we appear so limited, but we have a limitlessness hiding behind this limited frame of the body. Yeah. So, I think in Savitri also it becomes again and again comes at many, many points. Other masters and mystics have said that what you are looking for is within you, the limitless or the divine resides within you. So that's the mask that it wears. The matter or the body is the mask of the divine. It appears limited but is not. It appears death bound but is beyond death. So that is the dance that spirit dances with matter as its mask. It appears mortal but is not, is something just beyond mortality. So this is the dance of the spirit with matter as its mask, and the patterns that it dances in are very intricate patterns. They are very unpredictable patterns. Yeah, worlds, intricate patterns of dance of spirit. The balance of the world's design grew clear. So it became clear to Ashwapati how all this dance, what we call as play of the god, play of the divine, the leela of the divine, that is happening. That became more and more clear to Ashwapati. The balance of the world's design grew clear. Its symmetry of self arranged effects. So, whatever are the happenings of life, we think that they're happening by chance, but we don't have a view into the forces which are leading them to happen that way. So, everything is coming out of a proper lineage, but that lineage is not visible to us, human mind. A mind which lives in ignorance, it cannot see why such and such event happened, right? But for some of us, or for the rare ones of us who can see beyond all this face value or the happenings, they know that everything in this life has a reason. It is coming through some, for some purpose and out of some lineage. So this symmetry of self arranged effects, everything is as if designed by a vaster intelligence. All the happenings can be made use of by that vaster intelligence, so that the progress can go on incessantly. So this symmetry, this harmony of all things happening at any point of time, this harmony became clearer and clearer to Ashwapati now that his vision is growing and expanding. And all these happenings of life are, they are not mismanaged, they are not like they're just chance happenings, this may happen, this that may happen, not like that. Everything is managed in the deep perspectives of the soul. So as if there are hidden chambers of the soul, like the head office of the soul, which is kind of in effect making those life happenings possible. But that's that hidden chamber, owing to the fact that it is hidden, anything that happens to my life, it appears as, oh my god, how could that happen? So for me, for the mortal human mind, it may come as a surprise. But all the happenings are happening for a reason, they have a purpose for to their existence. And the management is done in the deep perspectives of the soul. So what is the need of the soul? What are the experiences that the soul needs to go through in this lifetime, so that the progress and the learning of the soul can go on and on and on, that the depth can go on and on and on. Because as Mother and Sri Aurobindo also say, and other masters have said, that we are here for experiences, to go through our experiences and to grow through our experiences. So if we shun away one experience or the other, saying that it is a painful experience, then we suffer, because that is not our destiny. Our destiny is to go through and to go through, grow through all our experiences, whether good, whether bad, doesn't matter. So all these effects of our life, all the happenings of our life are managed in these hidden chambers of soul. This became clearer to Ashwapati, and the realism of its illusive art. So it appears that is life an illusion? Masters have said, a few Vedantic teachers have said that the world is Maya, world is an illusion. So is it really true that it is an illusion? And of course, Mother and Sri Aurobindo have shed light upon that, saying that it may be an illusion, but it is happening. It has a realism also to it. So that is what is shared in this line, and the realism of its illusive art. Yes, all the happenings of life may be God's dream, but they have a reality to it. They are happening. So we cannot just shun our responsibilities for the sake that, oh my God, it's all Maya, it's all illusion. So why do I need to have this sincerity in life? For example, I can easily shun away my responsibility to be a divine collaborator. But that is not how it is. That will just lead me to more and more suffering. So if I have a life, and maybe that life is happening in God's dream, let's say, but in my life, it is a reality for me. If I am hurt, I am hurt. So my task is to take care of that hurt. Whether it is a dream or not a dream is not of a matter for me. If I am hurt, if I am suffering, then my task is to go to the root of that suffering and find a resolution for me. So that is the realism of its illusive art. It appears like a perpetual dream, God's dream, but there is also a realism to that dream. There is something that is happening for real. I am hurt, then I am hurt. I am suffering, the suffering appears very, very real. If somebody says that it is Maya, what you are suffering is just Maya, I would not be able to believe into it, because I am suffering. It's hurting me every moment. So my task is to take it as real, and in all my sincerity, find a resolution for suffering, no matter whether it's an illusion or not an illusion. And what also gets revealed to Ashupati is the logic of infinite intelligence. and its magic of a changing eternity. Now, eternity by its name means limitless, that which is timeless, beyond time, beyond limits, beyond the knowing of mind, that which cannot be known. But it is also changing every moment. There is a lot of freedom that is there in our existence. So, as Sri Aurobindo and Mother share, that we have to move in our life from one truth to a greater truth, to a greater truth, to a greater truth. There is no end to this progression. There is no end to perfection. Yeah. So that is what is meant by changing eternity. Yes, I have gotten uh, to a place in my life where I feel comfortable, I feel sorted. Yet I don't have to stop here. I have to move on and clear all the residues that may come in my life, moving from one truth to a greater truth, to a greater illumination, to a greater illumination. And the journey goes on for each one of us individually. And there is also a infinite intelligence working at the background. It's not just a creation out of a chance that has happened out of no reason. There is infinite intelligence in action, but we are not aware of that infinite intelligence in our personal lives, owing to the limited mind, the domains of limited boundaries of mind that we usually operate from. And that is why it becomes essential for us that the mind quietens down so that the rest is revealed to me. Because if the mind is always in confusion, always very, very active, and always abusively thinking, then the rest, the intelligence, cannot be revealed to me. It's only in the restful mind that the intelligence has a chance to get revealed, a silent receptacle, a silent container. Yeah? Only then the intelligence, which is already there 24/7, gets revealed to us. So this is all that is getting revealed to Ashupati, all the play, the logic and the intelligence behind the play of human existence. Yeah, anything that you have to share, anything that is coming in to anyone?
Monica,
Yeah,
although everything is an illusion and we feel it's real and there is some reality to it, when it comes, like suppose we are suffering or getting hurt, we feel it's real. And I know we should be taking responsibility and there should be sincerity, but many times the attitude of, entertaining this thought, this is just an illusion, I don't have to get attached to it. I mean, it makes we get very serious with
yeah,
life sometimes. But I think, when I try to attach, I try to rationalize it like this: my doubts are not real, my fears are not real, my mental conceptions are not real. They're
yeah,
just an illusion. It helps temporarily.
totally. Yes, yes,
So I think it helps you to detach from that
yes.
thing. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. It does help us to detach completely with you, Gurpreet ji. And yet we have to know that that detachment or that taking the world as an illusion, actually, why we have to be careful here, because we can abuse this reality. We can abuse the word, which is, say, illusion. So I can say, I can go and murder a person, and I can say all of this is an illusion, so why do I need to care? So there, because the ego can distort anything, so that is where we need to be very vigilant, that we should not use it for the task of the ego. Yeah. So that's where we, the vigilance needs to come into perspective. Hmm?
Monica, I need to ask
Yeah.
something. This is Navpreet. Okay,
Yes, no.
Monica, when we go through diseases or we go through such pains, right? So, what learning we are learning through?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I'm not able to understand that what learning we do learn from these diseases and all.
Yeah. So, Navpreet, there can be individual learnings for individual people. Huh? Most of the time, how we have been living on a general collective consciousness, we have just been living मैं, मेरा घर, मेरा परिवार, मेरे बच्चे, मेरा पैसा, मेरा बैंक. That is how we live. Yeah.
True.
And we limit ourselves in that kind of a living. So when a disease comes, a disease threatens my existence. It puts me face to face with death, that death can strike anytime. Now, knowing that death can strike anytime, uh, would I still want to live the older way of my life? The way I had been living earlier, very suffocated life, very limited life, always obsessing about the bank balance, always obsessing about how much property I have. Would I still be living the way that I used to live? Many of us in this crisis are realizing that we don't need to suffocate ourselves like that, and we can deserve a better day to day life, knowing that death can strike anytime. Yeah, because होता क्या है कि we put freedom, हम बोलते हैं कि हाँ मैं अपनी जिंदगी तो जी लूंगी लेकिन वो 5 साल बाद जी लूंगी. अपनी जिंदगी जीनी तो है, हाँ अभी जो जिंदगी चल रही है वो ठीक नहीं चल रही, बट वो 5 साल बाद जी लूंगी ना. आफ्टर 5 years आई विल लिव अ लाइफ दैट आई वांट टू लिव. Now let me live a life that everyone else want me to live. Yeah. And in that we keep on suffocating ourselves. So now, owing to the fact that death is just face to face with me, I have a choice. I can say that, okay, I see that there is hardly any time. And now, can I live a life which is full and rich and content right now, not waiting for a future to come? Is that my possibility?
True.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah. This is just one way of just sharing about it.
Right.
So, Gurpreet ji, were you wanting to share anything on this illusion?
No, it's okay, Monica.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so let's go to the next lines then. Yeah. Who wants to read?
I'll read.
Yeah.
A glimpse was caught of things forever unknown. The letters stood out of the unmoving word. In the immutable, nameless origin was seen emerging as from fathomless seeds, the trail of the ideas that made the world, and sown in the black earth of nature's trance, the seed of the spirit's blind and huge desire, from which the tree of cosmos was conceived, and spread its magic arms through a dream of space.
Yeah. So now Ashwapati catches a glimpse. What is the glimpse that he catches? A glimpse was caught of things forever unknown. Mind, the level of mind that we live day to day life at is a word of known. I know. Okay. I know that my child eats this and this food. I know that these are my likes and preferences. I know that this shop opens at this particular time. So all this is the realm of mind. Whatever is the realm of known is the realm of mind. Now, Ashwapati, owing to the fact that we have read earlier, his being has gone completely silent. Absolute silence is there in the being. The heart is empty. The mind is an empty space. He is able to catch a glimpse of the unknown, which is beyond the mind. Mind cannot be there. Mind cannot exist in the unknown. Mind can only exist or only function in the known. And that is why when we talk of things like fear, why do we fear? Because in fear, whenever we talk of fear, uh, we talk of something which is going to come, which I have no idea of. So there the limits of mind are tested. Mind can easily experience, go through in whatever is known. Okay, these waters, 3 feet of waters, I know. Okay, so I can easily go there. But whenever we have to plunge into the unknown, A faith is needed which is beyond the mind, right? A trust is needed, a faith is needed. Yeah, yes, I will be okay. Yes, I will be okay. Although you have no idea whether you will be okay or not. But yet a trust is needed when you are plunging into the unknown. So because the limits of usual mind, they don't function there. A glimpse was caught of things forever unknown. The letters stood out of the unmoving world. Now this is a reference to anything and everything that is beyond manifestation. One is the world of manifestation, जो हमारे सामने है, the world of matter. All that can be seen and sensed with the eyes, that is the world of known matter. I can know this with my touch, I can know this with my smell. So that is the world of known. But where is this world coming from? All this world of known is coming from somewhere beyond that which cannot be known, which cannot be touched by our senses, where the mind falls silent. Ashupati gets a glimpse of that unknown, that unmoving word. Now, two words here, unmoving and word. I believe this is a reference to the original word from which everything has come into manifestation. That which was the first in existence, and that which is unmoving, this which is the base of all the movement of life. For example, if imagine that there is a tree which is waving very hard, waving very hard. Why is it able to wave very hard? Because it is rooted somewhere and the roots are still. Yeah, so it has a strong connection with that unmovement. No movement is there in the roots, and that is why a lot of movement is possible on the surface of the tree. So the base of our existence, the foundation of our human individual existence, is based in that unmovable, that immutable, that which we call as, for example, Shiva. When we talk of Purusha and Prakriti, Shiva and Shakti, we say Shiva is immovable, immutable, unmovable. He sits there at one place, always silently witnessing all the things, happenings of life. He cannot be moved. And that is why I think one of the metaphors that is used is Mount Kailasha, mountains. Mountains, when we look at mountains, they are absolutely still and as if immovable. There is a kind of a sthirta about them. They cannot be moved. And all of us individual beings, although there are lots of movements in life that we go through, yet there is something in us which is untouchable, immovable. That is the base of all the movement. What is that? Are we in touch with that? Can we be in touch with that? Because that is our reality, that is part of our absolute reality. And without knowing that absolute reality, it is not possible to live a life which is free of misery. Yeah, so it's very important when people talk of know yourself, know thyself. It is very important to know what all we are composed of. Because if I see that am I only composed of all these movements, the flux of emotions, the flux of thoughts, always going up and down, really? Because then I will be always scared forever. But if I get in touch with this silent witness within me, which is forever an observer of all the movements of life and it cannot be shaken, then there is some kind of a stillness comes in the being, that yes, there is something in me which cannot be touched. No matter I may die, but that thing cannot be touched. So what is to be afraid of? What is to be afraid of? So he got in touch, he got a glimpse of everything beyond the manifestation, from which all the manifestation is coming. In the immutable, that which cannot be changed. What this virus that, for example, that is going on nowadays, it's highly mutable virus. It undergoes a rapid change, right? The antigens on the top of it are changing every moment. That is why we are finding it hard to fight with the virus. One vaccine is developed, that appears very counterproductive or useless in front of the new mutated virus. So that is what means by mutation. It is changing, rapidly changing. But Ashwapati gets a glimpse of in the immutable, nameless origin. You know, that which is immutable, that which cannot be changed, that which is the basis of all the change, but itself cannot be changed. It cannot be touched, cannot die. That nameless origin he got a glimpse of. Kabir ji has talked about it in another form. He says, एक राम दशरथ का बेटा, दूजा घर घर में बैठा, तीजे राम का सकल पसारा, चौथा सभी से न्यारा. So he talks of a fourth kind of a Ram, that which cannot be talked of. Because the moment I talk about that fourth one, I would be defining him, naming him, limiting him. And that fourth one is beyond all limitation. And that is a reference to this nameless, nirgun, that which is not bound in any qualities. That is the origin of all manifestation, while the manifestation is bound in qualities. Now, related with your personal lives, you as a personal human being, I as a personal human being, I am bound by certain gunas. I am bound by certain qualities of my nature. But there is something in me which is unbound completely by those qualities. For beginners, we can call it our intelligence, our power of knowing clearly, discernment. Discernment is not bound by a female or male body. Discernment is not bound by nature. If another person has discernment and I have discernment, the discernment is same. Natures of both of us may be different, but the quality, the sharpness of discernment remains the same. So that discernment of the quality of viveka, the intelligence, the power of knowing, direct perception, that is beyond the qualities of mortal existence. It is not bound by mortal existence. Yeah, so these are just a few ways of going deeper into this immutable, nameless origin, that it is our 24/7 possibility. Hmm? All of this was emerging. He saw it emerging, was seen emerging as from fathomless seas. Seas, the depths of whom cannot be imagined. Vast, limitless, bottomless seas. The trail of the ideas that made the world. The ideas also, the ideas that we have, creative ideas in day-to-day life. How am I holding a paper in my hand? Because somebody had an idea to create this. How I'm working on laptop, somebody had an idea. So all these ideas, they are coming forth from those fathomless seas, which themselves have no name, no form, but are responsible for all the forms and all the names, all the creation. The trail of the ideas that made the world, and sown in the black earth of nature's trance, the seed of, and what did he saw next? What did he see next? The next he sees the seed of spirit's blind and huge desire, from which the tree of cosmos was conceived. Mother talks of this story of creation, where he says that there was only one divine that was there. There was nothing else but the divine. And then out of himself, he manifested a force out, which we call it as Aditi, Shakti, Chit Shakti, consciousness force. And then he delegated the work to this Chit Shakti that, okay, go ahead and create the manifestation. And then the story goes on. So this consciousness force or Chit Shakti is what he saw emerging out of those fathomless seas, the immutable, immovable seas. Yeah. So out of all that stillness of consciousness or the divine came the consciousness force or the Chit Shakti, which led to ideas and then to manifestation. So here we can connect with mother's story of creation. Yeah. And then is a reference to what next he sees. He sees this Mother and Sri Aurobindo talk of self-involution, that the divine got involuted into the matter. What do you mean by involution? As if I am hiding somewhere. Imagine there is a big piece of rock and I have magical powers. So what would I do? I would go and hide into the rock. You would not be able to see me. That would be called as involution. I have gone into the matter, which appears very obscure, as if there is no life present in that stone, but I am hiding into that matter. Yeah, that is what we call as involution. Now that which is involuted can be only that which can evolve out of matter. So this is a reference to this sown in the black earth of nature's trance. The matter that is there, the prakriti, the ignorance that is there, usme as if there is a seed that is sown, the seed of spirit's blind and huge desire. What is the desire? To progress. Look at human history. Look at your own life. Haven't we progressed through all our challenges? Haven't we seen the light through all our darknesses? That is the will that is hiding in the matter. That no matter what the circumstance may be, I will rise and shine above in whatever form I can. We look at these people running marathons after they have lost limbs. What is that? Where does that strength come from? That is the power of human spirit, which is hiding behind the matter, which says, okay, I don't have one limb, okay, I don't have two limbs, I don't have a mind, proper functional mind, no matter, doesn't matter. I will do in whatever way I can live life, I will find a better way to live life. And that has been seen with all of us, who people we call as warriors, who have taken all the situations as challenges and come above those challenges, risen above those challenges. So this is the spirit that is hiding behind the matter. This is the huge desire, the desire to progress, go on and on, no matter how difficult the circumstances may become. This is the blind and huge desire for progress. This is hiding in the matter. This is hiding. And this comes from time to time in our life. Whenever the situations are ripe, it shines on. And that is what we mean by living on razor's edge, living on an edge. Usually we get so easy in our comfort spaces, comfort zones, that we don't allow ourselves to be challenged. But the moment a challenge is there, the spirit's light is also seen. So if I want to taste the spirit's light, then I have to be on a rope, as if walking on a rope. I have to challenge myself from time to time. That is how I can see the hand of divine grace working. Otherwise, in my comfort zones, I will not be having really much fun. Comfort may be there, luxury may be there, but fun will be missing. Yeah. So anything from this part, and then I'll go ahead. Okay. So then he sees, from which the tree of cosmos was conceived and spread its magic arms through a dream of space. There is this reference of inverted tree in Gita, Bhagavad Gita. There's also other masters who have referred to this as Ashwatha tree, right? This is an inverted tree, and I'm sure many of us have heard about it. So this inverted tree, the tree of cosmos, the roots are above. When uh, we started with Savitri, it is very clear what the reference that we see about Savitri, that her roots were in beyond. She remembered her divine origins. With us human beings, usually what happens is we forget our divine origins. And that is why we suffer. Owing to that, we suffer. So that is why remembrance or sumiran has to be there, that who I am is purely divine. So whatever challenge I am going through, let us transmute it into light, because I have that capacity. So that remembrance has to be constantly there if the light of the divine has to shine through in this mortal existence. Hmm? Because if my life remains misery and I have an idea of my divine origins, that would not be of much help. So in difficult challenges as diseases or anything, more challenging in life, there is my challenge, that now I know of my divine origins. Can I make it happen for my life also, the mortal world that I am living? Because only if in theory I know about my divine origins, that doesn't help me. So how to make it happen for reality? How to make it happen in my day to day life? Yeah. So our roots are divine. This is the inverted tree. The root is my will to progress. That is the root. My will to progress through any darkness, any challenge. My will, my yearning to gain clarity for any confusion. This is the will, which is embedded high up in the beyond. Inverted tree. Huh? Roots are in the sky. So this is coming from the divine. The roots are in the sky. I have this will to go on and on and on and on and never stop. This is coming from the divine. But the manifestation, the leaves, the branches, the fruits, they are all in the mortal sphere. They are all in the lower consciousness. My task as a human being in my individual and collective space is to make this connection happen, to make life divine happen on this earth. Yeah, to make that immortality shine through the mortal realm. Is that a possibility for each one of us? That is where we need to collaborate. Not to collaborate with the workings of the ego or the tendencies or the patterns, but to directly connect with that will to progress and use all the challenges in life for progress. And progress means light. Progress is divine. Progress means perfection. That is what is divinity. So I don't have to stop. Challenges will be there. It is not that for a spiritual person challenges will stop. Challenges will come even with a greater force, but I have to turn all the challenges as a raw material for turning myself into gold. That is our task. Yeah. So anything from this paragraph? Yeah. Okay. So these are the glimpses that Ashupati is getting. Hmm? Something of the beyond the mind, and how it makes the world manifest, and how our roots are in that beyond. And that is why we don't like death. Nobody likes death. There must be a reason why we don't like death per se. Although it's okay, I can have a neutral, equanimous experience with in terms of death, but we don't like it. Why we do not like it? Because in essence we are immortal, and it frustrates us, just like it frustrated Savitri when Satyavan was dead. How can death happen? She says. How can death happen when I know that my origin is immortal? When I know that I am divine, how on earth can death happen and seize Satyavan away? It is not possible. So there is a purpose, I feel, that we don't like death, and that just signals us that there is much greater a possibility for each one of us in mortal existence, that we can rise even beyond death, being in mortal sphere, what we call as a new race or superhumanity. Mother and Sri Aurobindo call it as superhumanity, where even the matter, the body material that we have, that would change, that would become deathless. So yes, it is our possibility. No wonder that death frustrates us. How my loved one could be taken away from me? No, it frustrates us, because somewhere deep within us, no, we know that it should not be that way. But since it is all a evolution in time, it needs time so that we reach that kind of a manifestation where even the body has become deathless, the cells remember their divine origin, and hence are able to shine the light of the divine and certitude of the divine in their consciousness. But that would take a long time. But the journey has to start right now. And now Ashwapati sees immense realities taking shape. And there is a list of realities taking shape that he sees, what all that he sees.
Monica?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually about that stillness, no? For that we can imagine as a blue sky. That imagination helps to feel our stillness, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, completely. Yes. So whenever I am, for example, troubled by any thought, any emotion, and I imagine that I am the blue sky, which is forever present, and the darkness or the challenge or emotion or the disease, even, it is just a cloud passing over that blue sky. I am still untouched by that cloud. Yeah. That connects us with a deeper strength. That witnessing presence. Yes, that can help, that image. Yeah. Yeah, who would like to read?
Can I go?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Immense realities took on a shape. There looked out from the shadow of the unknown, the bodiless namelessness that saw God born and tries to gain from the mortal's mind and soul a deathless body and a divine name. The immobile lips, the great surreal wings, the visage masked by superconscious sleep, the eyes with their closed lids that see all things, appeared of the architect who builds in trance.
Yeah. Just, I don't know, out of context, really, just got reminded of, when there is death all around and the death can knock us down any moment, is that a possibility that just like a loyal servant to the divine, each day is lived as a servant of the divine? Because then I would not be living a life of regret. I think why we are afraid of death also is that अभी तक जो जीवन जिया है, so far the life that I have lived, somewhere we think that we could have done better. I could have chosen a higher possibility over being indulged into lower consciousness. So can I allow myself to choose that higher possibility right now? Because that would be being the servant of the divine. Yeah. So that even if that strikes any moment, I would be like a martyr in the battlefield. I would not uh, have lived, a life in seclusion, not fighting for the Lord. So yes, death can strike any moment, and still I have a possibility to die on the battlefield, because then I would not be cribbing and regretting that I could have done better. So I don't know why it just came. Maybe that disease thing that we were talking of.
No, it is beautiful, Monica, really.
So this is what Ashwapati sees. Immense realities. Immense, whenever we talk of word immense, immense means that which is vast, which is limitless, which is beyond our mind's conception. Those realities started taking a shape in front of Ashwapati. They looked out from the shadow of the unknown, that which cannot be known, the bodiless namelessness that saw God born. Now, this is a reference to what is the origin of God. So, the origins of the origins. He went there. He saw a glimpse of that. That what was there before God was born. Look at this, this line. The bodiless namelessness that saw, as if somebody is seeing the presence of God in manifestation. So it means that there is something beyond God in manifestation also. He saw a glimpse of that. He saw that nirgun reality, what Kabir refers to as the Chautha Ram, the Ram that cannot be talked of. that is beyond any definition, beyond any talk. So you better not talk about it, because the moment I talk about it, I capture it, and that would not be it. Yeah. So that is why in Guru Granth Sahib also, there are many names for it, that which cannot be known, agye, that which, that the first line here, unknown with a capital U, the shadow of the unknown. They are looked out from the shadow of the unknown, the bodiless namelessness that saw God being born. Imagine that God is being given birth to in presence of that bodiless namelessness. That is how it is. The image is here. And tries to gain from the mortal's mind and soul a deathless body and a divine name. Now, this is really beautiful. Yeah, this is a reference to the almost the purpose of our human existence. I believe that this is a reference to that. That our task is to be born into the ignorance, and then to take the ignorance to the heights of light and intelligence. That is our task. So we need not be worried of the guilt or shame or the challenges or the fear or the anxiety. All that is darkness. Now I am a magician. Imagine each one of human being as a magician. I am a magician. I have been given the raw material of all the darkness in life, saying that you have the capacity, you can change it, transmute into light. So why the need to be afraid of darkness then? While my only task is to convert the darkness into gold. And we must have that capacity. Otherwise, why would I be given that job? Yeah. So there I think a lot of we connect with the divine deeper strength, that if I am being given a darkness in my life, if I have been given a packet of fear and anxiety and panic in my life, then definitely, without a doubt, I also have the capacity to transmute it towards light. Can I begin at my task? Is that a possibility? Because that would be a life divine. Here tries to gain from the mortal's mind and soul a deathless body and a divine name. This is a progression of human evolution towards superhumanity. What Sri Aurobindo and Mother talk of, that the material form of human beings would be such that it would be so transparent that it would shine out the light of the divine clearly, obviously. There would be no doubt and confusion left that the divine is present. And it is possible for each one of us. And we must walk on this path again and again. We have to remember that there is this only path that we have in front. There is no other path. There is only one path of divine collaboration. Can we collaborate for our own beauty and progress? A deathless body, a body which would be deathless. Now the body that we have, it dies after 80, 90 years, it withers away. But when the cells will remember their divine origins, when the cells will be remembering truly with certitude that nothing can happen to them, then that body will also change, undergo a change, a radical change. Mother says that even now, owing to the eons of fear, anxiety, and living in this lower consciousness, the cells of our body have forgotten that they are divine in origin. That is the depth of our ignorance. So the human ignorance is not just on the level of mind or level of emotions. No, it is also in the cells that ignorance is deeply ingrained. Just look at any name of a disease. Imagine that you are now today diagnosed with something. Just see, even if the mind is not trembling, emotions are not trembling, the physical body trembles in fear. So what is this trembling? Where is this coming from? It is the collective human consciousness which is gone in ignorance, steeped in ignorance. The cells have forgotten that they are divine in origin. And slowly our task is to transform all the planes of our being, the mental plane, the emotional plane, and also the bodily plane. We have to work with ourselves. We have to inject the cells with faith and certitude that nothing can happen to you because you are divine. That faith has to be injected into the cells, lifelong of a process. And only then we will move towards a deathless body, because this is our reality, this is our destiny. We deserve a deathless body. And as I was sharing earlier, that no one likes death, this is the reason why I do not like death, because somewhere deeply we know that we deserve better. Hmm? And a divine name, a name which will not obscure divinity. Usually whenever we talk of a name, the moment I say something, it limits me. The moment I say speaker, a speaker from which the voice comes out, it limits the form. But a divine name would mean that yes, although it has a name, but it's still a very revealing name, it's not a limiting name. So all that is our possibility, a deathless body and a divine name, a life lived as a servant of the divine rather than being a servant of slave of ego or falsehood. That is our possibility. This is what Ashupati sees. Immense realities took on a shape. And then he also sees something else. Here in the next paragraph, which I think Chitraji has already read. The immobile lips, the great surreal wings, the visage masked by superconscient sleep, the eyes with their closed lids that see all the things, appeared of the architect who builds in trance. Hmm? So this is, I believe, a reference to what is shared in Vedas and scriptures as pragya, what we call as pragya. Pragya. Pra means that which is before, and gya means which is gyan, that which can be known, that which is in the realm of the known, that which is in the realm of the mind. Pragya, that what we say, sthit pragya. Pragya means that which is beyond the known, that which is beyond the mind. Huh? So he saw this great sleep of the self. Whenever we talk of Vishnu, we see that he is lying on the Sheer Sagar and he is in half awake sleep. He's like lying down, not really very active, not really very sleepy. He's like half awake, half in trance. So that is the quality of pragya, half awake. What we human beings called as fully awake is the senses. Whenever I can touch, whenever I can sense and smell and feel and taste, that I call as I am awake. But for the divine, that is not awake. For masters, it is not an awake state, it is sleep. Being awake to our senses is sleep for the masters. For the masters, this is being awake, which is super conscient sleep, like a half trance state, where I am not completely awake to the world of material, but I am absorbed in a world beyond the material existence, beyond the senses. So this is, I believe, a reference to where the creation comes from, all the creation, where it comes from. The eyes with their closed lids. So although the lids of the eyes are closed, the physical mortal eyes are closed, but it is able to see all the things. So it is a seeing beyond the physical or mortal level of seeing. Yeah, the direct perception, the direct knowing, without the interference of senses in between. Because senses distort the meaning of things. But this is direct seeing, direct knowing. And this appeared of the architect who builds in trance. So he got a glimpse of that divine architect who builds the manifestation in a trance-like state. A reference to super conscience. I think I usually avoid using the words like these because they are not of much concern, I believe, in our day-to-day life. Because for now, I am much concerned that can I make my day-to-day life better, more intelligent, and less perturbed by the ego. Yeah. So that is why I try to bring it more down to kind of, earth. Yeah. So this is what Ashupati saw. He saw the origins of the origin, everything being brought into manifestation, and what lies beyond the manifestation. That is what he saw. How is the manifestation created? He got a glimpse of that stillness, that absolute sleep and stillness from which all the creation is manifested. And then he saw further something more. I think we can take these two paragraphs and then we can close after that. Yeah, anyone who wants to read?
The original desire, born in the void, peered out. He saw the hope that never sleeps, the feet that run behind a fleeting fate, the, the ineffable meaning of the endless dream.
Yeah. So this, we were also talking about it earlier in the few lines. This original, the spirit that has involuted into the matter, it has gone and hid into the matter. But whenever chances are ripe, it also shines through the matter. Hmm? So that is the desire of the spirit, the huge blind desire to go on and on and on and on without discouragement. The original desire born in the void, the desire to progress, the desire to move towards perfection, peered out. And there he saw the hope that never sleeps. Look at hope in our lives. Whatever wrong may happen in our lives, we still have a streak of hope or faith that yes, things will get a better turn. Things will change and things will kind of get better again. Where is that coming from? Even if it's a very small dot of a faith, but where is it coming from? Was it given to me when I was educating myself in the school? Was it given to me by any external agency, by books? Or was it just maybe not given to me? It is just inherent in me. That knowing that yes, everything will be okay sooner or later. That is the hope that never sleeps. Untiring, never discouraged hope. And also the hope that the divine will be manifested in mortal human condition sooner or later. Sooner or later, it's just a matter of time. And why a matter of time? Because free will is there in operation. Huh? So I cannot force anyone who is not ready to walk on this path to walk on this path. I cannot do that. Why? Because the basis is free will. But for those of us who become ready, that yes, okay, let me collaborate for this, I think this is urgent, for them it becomes a faster pace. And for others, we still have to yet go through our slaps and blows and insults and rejections, and then to arrive at a conclusion that yes, there is no other way but this, owing to the fact that there is free will. That's why time is in operation. So this hope that never sleeps, that hope that things will take a better turn, the feet that run behind a fleeting fate. Why a fleeting fate? Because the fate is forever progressing. Imagine that today I have arrived at a point in my life that I feel sorted, as I was sharing earlier. But then again, a newer challenge will come, and again, a non settlement will happen. And then I will have to move further from that original later light to a further light, that truth to a greater truth. So that's why my fate is also fleeting. It is moving. It's like a mirage. I think we were reading in prayers and meditations that day, where mother says that the moment I go closer to you, you seem to escape me. The moment I go much closer to you, you seem to escape me. And that is why we say divine is nothing but perfection. Perfection is a road. Mother also says that divine, for those of us who cannot resonate with the word divine, they can use the word perfection, because perfection is a state which you can never have. You cannot say that, okay, now I have arrived perfection in my music or art or anything, because we can always go on and on and on and on and on improvising towards perfection, but we will never be able to achieve perfection. So there is never an end to perfection, and that is why divine and perfection are synonymous. There is not an end to divine, and there is not an end to perfection, and there is not an end to progress in our life. I cannot say that I have progressed enough and now I am ready to settle down. It is not human nature to settle down, and that is why we suffocate and rot almost when we try to settle down. We have misery and suffering in life whenever we have tried to settle down, because that is going against the flow of life. Our life is flow. Again, this Kabir's couplet I am reminded of, where he says, "Behta pani nirmala, bandha ganda hoye." So he says the water, whenever it is flowing water, then only it is nirmal, then it is without any residue of dirt. Whenever it is stuck in a boundary, बंधा पानी, हाँ, whenever it is stuck for a longer time, वो गंदा हो जाता है, मैला हो जाता है, it becomes dirty. So बहता पानी निर्मला, बंधा गंदा हुए. And that is also our human nature. Whenever we are progressing, people who are in the later ages of life, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, there must be a quality of life if they are not stopping to progress, and they only know for themselves that it gives them a quality of life, if it gives them joy in their life to keep on progressing like a child. Yeah. So that is the feet that run behind a fleeting fate, a fate which is forever escaping me, which is forever going me on and on and on, progressing me. The ineffable meaning of the endless dream. Imagine that we are in God's dream. It is a perpetual God's never ending dream that is going on. This will to progress gives a meaning to that dream. Ineffable, inexpressible, that which cannot be expressed really in words. That what is really the meaning of existence. But whenever we talk about progress and moving towards perfection, then we see that we get a meaning to our lives. We say, okay, let me just master myself or train myself on and on in this or that domain in life. It gives us a meaning in life. Yeah. Yeah. Anything from these lines? Mother says never to get satisfied with yourself. I think that is why she says that, because the moment we get satisfied, we begin to rot, we begin to wilt. And the march should be always from one higher possibility to a further higher possibility to a further higher possibility. There is no end to my possibilities. This is what it means by running always on and on. Feet that run behind a fleeting fate and saw the hope that never sleeps. Yeah. Okay, so if not anything, let's take this last paragraph and then we will close for today. Yeah, anyone who wants to go?
Hardly for a moment glimpsed viewless to mind, as if a torch held by a power of God, the radiant world of the everlasting truth glimmered like a faint star bordering the night, above the golden, over mind's shimmering ridge.
Yeah. So now another glimpse that he gets, hardly for a moment, not really a very long glimpse, but just a short glimpse. Hardly for a moment glimpsed viewless to mind, as if his silent mind got a glimpse to the viewless, that which not really is a view, which is beyond the senses of normal day-to-day existence. And how did he get a glimpse? As if a torch held by a power of God, by grace, No, only grace can make it happen. So owing to his stillness and silence of the being, grace as if held a torch. The power of grace held a torch for him. The radiant world of the everlasting truth. This is what he got a glimpse of. Now, this is a reference to supramental world, a world which is rid of all the obscurities and ignorance and is direct manifestation of divine, without the layers of ignorance in between. He got a glimpse of that supramental truth consciousness world, glimmered like a faint star bordering the night. The night means the life of ignorance that we on a mortal level live, the life of ignorance. Above the golden overminds, shimmering ridge. So these are a bit kind of intricate lines. So those of us who have not read, maybe some of us have read, in Letters of Yoga part 1, Sri Aurobindo talks of what is overmind. And he says that there is first this normal human mind, then there is higher mind, the illumined mind, and then the overmind above that. And above overmind, there is this supramental or supermind. Now, all these layers are connected with each other. There is not a gulf in between, they are all connected with each other. And overmind is the space from which we get ideas and inspirations and insights and visions, and maybe sometimes in dreams, for whenever our being is silent, some dots connect, intuitions are received in the silent space of mind. They are coming from the overmind. They are relayed to the mind from the overmind. So this is what was revealed to Ashwapati, that beyond all these worlds lies the world of supramental truth, which is super truth consciousness. And what lies below that world is the world of ignorance. And what connects the two, the world of ignorance and the supermind or the truth consciousness, what connects the two? The overmind. The overmind is a connection between the world of absolute truth consciousness and the world of ignorance. And that is why in day-to-day life, whenever we have insights or intuitions, they're all like, imagine that there are kind of, somebody is sending me a few glimmers of lights from the higher planes to make sense of the world of ignorance. Yeah, this is how we make sense of our world. And this also, when I was reading or going through this, it just occurred to me that when I was studying in Zurich, so Switzerland on its borders is surrounded by, on one side Italy, and on the other side France, and then on the other side Germany. So it is surrounded. Now Switzerland, the center or the core of Switzerland would be completely, truly, imagine that is overmind. Okay. Now, when we go towards the Italian side of the Switzerland, then we see that the language changes. The language has an Italian accent in German or Swiss dialect. So that is the overmind connecting to the supermind. So what Sri Aurobindo calls as supramental overmind. So the density of Switzerland connecting with Italian part, let's call Italian part supermind for just for the sake of it right now. So when the overmind connects with the supermind, since there are also many layers in overmind, that is where we get a mixture of overmind and the supermind. It is not completely supermind, but it is a mixture. And then we move towards the French side of Switzerland. Then we see that there is a French dialect coming. It's not completely French, it's not completely German, but it's also not, it's somewhere of the middle. So that is what Sri Aurobindo refers to as the layers of supermind. So I don't know how far clear I can make it. So starting from the lowest consciousness, which Sri Aurobindo says is possible for our mortal existence, is mental overmind. The world of creation, whenever we have creative thoughts, creative ideas, they're all coming from the mental overmind. Then above it is the mind of intuition, insights, inspirations. Still above, there are other planes of consciousness which we call as the supramental overmind, and above that is the supermind, which is absolute truth consciousness, which has no space for ignorance at all. So these are the layers of overmind which actually we also 24/7 can get connected to if there is silence in the being. Then we receive the intuitions, we receive the guidance in form of visions or kind of words of wisdom and full of light. So this is what is explained in these last three lines. The radiant world of the everlasting truth, reference to the world of truth consciousness or supramental world, glimmered like a faint star. It is still very far off, it's not very close, it's very, very far, but it's glimmering, it can be seen, bordering the night of ignorance, the living in falsehood as we live, mortal beings. And what connects is above the golden overmind's shimmering ridge. So imagine that there is a streak of shimmer beyond, uske niche, below that there is night of ignorance. Above there is a streak of shimmer, and then above it is the supermind. This is how it is kind of layered. Just kind of trying to give it a context. Yeah. Anything from here?
Yeah, regarding this super conscient, Monica, actually, this same vision Savitri got after she get back Satyavan from the god of death. She moved to other boons, to get the kingdom back to Satyavan's father and get sons for for her father. Before that, she got the glimpse of that Lord actually. This is like Vishwarupa Darshan of Sri Krishna in the battlefield by Arjuna. He has got the darshan, no? So this superconscious, same lines, in a very clear manner, Sri Aurobindo is depicting. I will read those lines. This is from page number 681, actually. I will read those lines. A mass of superconscience closed in light, creator of things in his all-knowing sleep. All from his stillness came as grows a tree. He is our seed and core, our head and base. All light is but a flash from his closed eyes. And all wise truth is mystic in his heart. The omniscient ray is shut behind his lids. He is the wisdom that comes not by thought. His wordless silence brings the immortal word. He sleeps in the atom and the burning star. He sleeps in man and God and beast and stone. Because he is there, the inconscient does its work. Because he is there, the world forgets to die. These are the very clear,
Beautiful.
clear. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sheikh, for sharing.
This is
681.
from page 681. Yeah.
Okay, I will share it on the group also.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Great. Anything else? Anyone? Beautiful. Okay. So let's call it a day then. Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you.
Monica.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Thank you.